in the flesh, in presence. And so this season when we were furloughed, the Lord just kept dealing with me, y'all. He would not let up, and he just kept saying, all right, you're going to keep running, and I'm going to keep turning your face to me every single time. Mm-hmm. Every time you want to do something, everything you touch, I'm going to make it fall apart until you surrender and submit to me. Mm-hmm. And so I finally said, okay, Lord, I have no excuse at this point. I'm laid off. I have the time. So I went to life coaching school, and I said, okay, let me do this. And so in that season, I was talking to one of my professors via Zoom. We were talking, going back and forth, and he was like, you need to tell your story. And I was like, no, why ain't anybody gonna listen to me? And so he was like, no, for real, your story will bless others. You need to put that out there. And so in that season, I said, okay, well, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna start writing. And so I wrote my first book, My Pain versus My Purpose. This book took me about 2 months. Once I got the title, once I got the chapters, the words just started flowing. And I didn't realize at the time how much it was healing me in the process of getting it out. Because there's a lot that I had held in since a young child that people did not know about. There was stuff even here that my family found out about once I released the book. They were like, what? Because I just didn't say it. Because I kept that weight. And I carried it until I couldn't carry it anymore. And so my first book came out, and it's called My Pain versus My Purpose. And the subtitle is My Hardest Battle Overcoming Me. And I know that sometimes our hardest battle is when we battle ourselves. Self-esteem issues, depression, things that we don't talk about, that we conceal. And then especially as African-American women, we are taught what goes on in this house stays in this house. Yeah. You don't deal with stuff, you don't address stuff, and we don't act like nothing's wrong. And then as women in general, we are taught we're just supposed to have it together. You can't fall apart, you can't be vulnerable, you're not allowed to be weak because you are a shero. And I had to commit to myself this year to say, Lord, I'm not wearing that title anymore. Yeah. I don't want to be seen as perfect. I don't want to seem like I have it all together. Yeah. I don't want to seem like I'm not bothered, like I don't cry, like things don't hurt my feelings, right. Because they do. And so I had to make a promise to myself to dispel that image that everybody sees me as, so that I can quit carrying that weight and everybody can stop feeling like they can keep pouring on me, and I keep accepting it. And then at the end of the day, I'm the one that's spiraled out of control and lost at home by myself, because now I'm trying to figure out how can I compartmentalize all of this and put it in its place. And so that first book came, and it's basically a tell-all about everything that I had to overcome as a young woman, which was overcoming a toxic relationship, overcoming depression, self-esteem issues, grief, overcoming cancer. And so all of these things happen at a young age where I'm 19, finally on my own, just getting started, finally trying to, find myself, settle. And then the Lord said, all right, boom, I'm gonna throw you a curveball. And I had to make that phone call to my mom and daddy. So I went to the doctor, and this is what he said. And they want me to come in because we need to go and have surgery immediately. And so it was a hard phone call to have to make, because it took me a minute. I'm not even gonna play like it didn't hurt. It took me a month before I made that phone call to my parents, because I was in denial. I said, who? Me? Sick? Why? This can't be life. I'm just starting. This can't be reality. And so I withheld that, and I sat with that. Nobody knew. I went on every day. Me and my sister went to college together. Her room was above mine, mine was below hers, and that she was stuck with me. We were here. I'm the little sister, I'm following you around. And so, didn't even tell her. Just going through. And then, finally, it caught up with me. It was like, okay, here we are. So we're gonna start this process. And so I did. And so, during that process, I wasn't strong in my faith. I wasn't who I am now. And being 19, I knew the Lord, but I didn't know the Lord. Okay, and so I had a relationship with him, but I did not have a, true covering with him. And so I had to get in that space and place where I battled suicidal thoughts of, if this is going to be my life, why am I here? I don't want to do this. I don't want to face this. And so in that season of dealing with that, the Lord took me through a lot of things. And in that, I did not want to deal with a lot of stuff, so I just pressed on, and life started spiraling out of control. And how many of us know when we don't deal with stuff, it finds a way to keep tapping at you?
Yes.
We try to act like it ain't there, right. It keeps coming back up. We try to suppress it, it keeps saying, hi, I let you rest yesterday, but I'm back today. You know, and so that's what it was for me. In everything that I did, every area of my life that I went through, it kept presenting itself. That Angela, you need to deal with your struggles. You need to deal with grief. You need to deal with this sickness. You need to deal with self-esteem issues. And so I did not, and I found myself in a toxic relationship. I hid it from my family, knowing that they weren't going to be happy about it. But for me, I was so broken that my mindset, my values, the way I thought was so messed up that I was reasoning about things that I knew good and well was not going to be a good thing. But I convinced myself, well, because I'm sick, I'm here, you know, I probably ain't going to live, so let's do it right now because it ain't going to matter later. When how many of us know that's not reality? Because just because we don't feel the consequence right then does not mean that that's not going to overshadow itself later on and it's not going to come to light. And so I had to go through this season of isolation. And the Lord said, all right, I'm going to take you and I'm going to let you do what you want to do because you're determined to do it. And then when you get ready, I'm still going to be here. And so I went through that season. And so then that's when the next book came along and it says, hurt, healed, happy. And that's literally the steps that I went through. I had to go to hurt. I had to deal with that hurt. I had to sit in that hurt. And how many of us know that when we don't take the time to deal with things, that they will overcome us? And that's where I was. I kept moving, and every time I said still, nope, because now I got to think about it. Nope, I'm fighting these feelings. So I kept moving until God said, okay, you're a flight attendant. I'm going to put you on a plane one day. I'm going to make you be hurt. And now you got to sit here and you got to be off. You can't afford to go nowhere. You can't afford to do anything because you're only getting 60% of your check. And now you're home. And then on top of that, you're in this toxic marriage. And so I'm going to make you sit in it. And I did. I had to sit in it. And when I sat in it, the Lord showed me myself. And how many times do we have to go through and realize I'm the problem sometimes? And I had to go that bad. I had to realize that I'm the common denominator in all of these issues in my life because I was not dealing with them. And so in that season of separation, he separated me from my husband. I moved out with my clothes and my shoes. My family didn't even know I had moved. They didn't even know I was going through separation because I said, okay, Lord, I got myself in this. It's between me and you, got to get out of it. And I did. I had to sit there. I had to go. I moved with my clothes and my shoes. And I said, Lord, I'm going to trust you. Because I know you brought me here for a reason, so I'm going to trust you. And so that's what I had to do. And so this book is a step-by-step guide of what I did, the steps that I took to actually heal and start that process. And the first part I had to do was take accountability for me. The part that I played, which is the hardest part for a lot of us, because we got to be honest with ourselves that sometimes we are the issue. It's not our friends, it's not our families, it's not our mates, our jobs, it's us. And so that's why I had to start with that. Once that came out, the next book I came out with, because everybody kept saying, you're just so inspirational, how do you do this? How did you not fall apart? I said, please don't get it twisted. It was hard. I had my days where I couldn't get out the bed, where all I did was cry. I didn't want to eat. I battled depression, but God, he kept me here. He kept me going. And so when he allowed me to be here, I then had to ask myself, okay, God, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Why did you keep me? Because I know you didn't bring me here to leave me. And so at this point, because I see your hand on me, now allow me to walk in what you have me to do and get Angela out of the way. And sometimes that's what we need to do as women. We got to submit. We got to submit. And so this journal here is called I Am Enough. It's a 365-day journal. With this journal, it is an inspiration to every day it starts off with a positive affirmation. And at the beginning of the year, it makes you set a yearly goal. It makes you list your current strengths and weaknesses. And then every day, it makes you set a goal. Once you set that goal, at the end of the day, it makes you do a recap every day. Did you accomplish it? Yes or no, and why? Are you keeping you from your purpose? Or are you allowing outside distractions keeping you? Am I getting caught up in social media, reality TV, my mate, my job? Am I putting everything else before God when he's the one who's keeping me? So this is something to help keep you accountable and keep you on track. It's actually the top seller for me because a lot of my friends get it at the beginning of the year, and then we check in with each other quarterly. All right, what are we doing? How many yeses do we have? How many no's? Helping keep each other on track. And one thing my friends know, I told them, I said, I'm in a season where I have these double P's that I got going on. And I need some homegirls that I can play with, but we can pray with each other too. Because I can be able to go out and we can go to brunch and all that good stuff, but at the end of the day, my back is against the wall and I don't know what to do, and I need somebody who can call on the name of Jesus with me, who can usher me into the throne of grace and say, no, friend, I got you. Where you're weak, I'm going to lift you up. I'm going to hold you, and I'm going to be right here by your side. And if we can't grow together, then baby, you gotta go. And I don't mean that in a harsh way. It's just, I'm in a season where I need to see God. I need to hear him. I need to walk in his presence. And I need to fully feel and hear him and let him guide me and lead me along the way. And so that's when this book came along, Through Your Eyes. This was a project I did with my friends. They're from all walks of life, all backgrounds, all nationalities. And this book, I did an interview question with them. And I asked them, what cultivates them as a person? How did the way you grew up, where you grew up, the things that you went through, how did that make you as a person? We don't realize sometimes where we grew up, what we experienced, what we saw, that is cultivates us to why we do the things we do, why we like the music we do, the mates that we have. I grew up two-parent household, predominantly white neighborhood, predominantly white schools. To me, privilege. I didn't know we struggled. If we did, I didn't see it. You know, my parents made sure we didn't go without. And they were high school sweethearts. Here we are, 40 years later, they're still together. So I didn't grow up in a toxic home. I didn't see a toxic relationship. But because I grew up in that did not mean that didn't shape me to want to do something different. Because how many of us as kids, I ain't gonna be like my mom and dad. I ain't gonna act like this. You know, and that was me. And so I made that mistake and went with the very thing that wasn't going to serve me. And then later found the hard consequence, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna be like my mom and dad. All right, they was right. You know, and so this book talks about that, and it talks about, you know, what makes us who we are as a child up until an adult. And then now as an adult, if you don't like what you see, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to stay in that space, in that place? Or are you actually going to find yourself doing something beyond what your excuses are? Because at the end of the day, that's all it is, an excuse. It's not a stopping block. You were stopping you from your own success. And so then I got to this next book here. This is my newest one. This is my first project with the kids book. My niece and nephew came over. I just built a house last year. I just hit a year in February. And so they came over, and the poster that I had back there with my two pictures on it, they saw it and was like, Andy, we want a picture with our book on it. And I was like, well, okay, let's figure out how to make that work. And so that birthed this book. This book is called I'm Possible. And I am big on starting now and breaking generational curses with young people, letting them see that society does not have to determine and define who you are. You can do that yourself. If you want to be that astronaut, let's go ahead and start cultivating that now. If you want to be that doctor, that physician, whatever it is that you want to be, let me go ahead and start pouring that into you now, taking you to those camps, introducing you to those different, you know, mentors and things like that who can help you get that instead of saying, oh, baby, you think it's too much. You ain't got to worry about that right now. No, we do. We can start now at 5 years old. And so this book is a motivation for them to let them know, I am possible. It's not impossible. It's just about how you look at the word. And so this is that book for them. And so to my cousin, I talked to them. Now it's me and you. I'll let y'all in the conversation. But when you called me and you said that you had this in your spirit, I told you then. I said, I'm so proud of you because I love what God is doing in your life. And it was a couple weeks ago, I came across a little meme and I sent it to you, and you sent it back and you said, oh, cousin, I really needed that. And it was in that moment where I had to realize that God is saying, baby, you may be bent, but you're not broken. You may be tearing, but you're not torn. You may be stretched, but you're not scattered. You are a vessel, baby. He knew you before he formed you in your mother's womb. He said you are my divine child, my image. And because of that, you were perfect in my sight. So it doesn't matter what anybody else says. It doesn't matter what stumbling blocks you come up on. It doesn't matter the battles that you face. All they're doing is setting the foundation for you. That ain't doing nothing but just showing God's hand in your life. That no matter what you go through, He's going to cover you. He is going to keep you. And the more you trust Him, He is going to say, I am going to be here every step of the way. Just look to the hills from which cometh your help. Because your help cometh from the Lord. Because He said, I am the one who is the provider. I am the one who sits on the throne and looks down. I am the one that passes out those blessings. So baby, walk tall. Hold your head up. Be the queen that He designed you to be. You my namesake, baby. We Angela, okay? You know, we have this. He has so much in store for you. You were looking at somebody who didn't think I was supposed to be standing right here today. And now God has me in a position to where I can go and speak the world full time. Travel around encouraging other women. And so if I can be this vessel, baby, you can too. Because I thought I was damaged. And he said, who told you that? You're not broken. You're not damaged. You are his perfect image. He has made you after his divine own heart. And what he has for you, can't nothing, nobody, or nowhere stop you and deter you from that. You have a village that you are looking at right here, right now, that is saying, we back you. You're not by yourself. You don't have to carry this by yourself. You don't have to go through this battle by yourself. We are not your competitors. We're your cheerleaders. We're here to uplift you and let you know that, baby, whatever you need to do, all things through Christ, they will last. For he is the one. He is the first, the last, the beginning, and the end. And if you keep him in every place where he's supposed to be, he's going to get you there. So don't lose faith. Don't lose hope. It's okay to cry. You're human. You're supposed to. Because it shows that God can still use you. It shows that you are humble and he can still do a work within you. So don't feel bad about crying. Shed those tears. But like your sister said, but get up out that place. Don't stay there. That's not where you're supposed to be. Allow yourself to feel it, yes. But then once you feel it, then say, okay, God, now what do you have me to do with this? Where do you have me to go? Because I know you have a purpose and a calling on my life. So help me walk in it. Help me fulfill it. And when you get to that place where you feel like you can't go on, baby, lay on your face and say, Lord, help me. If you don't know the words to say, Lord, use me. Guide me, direct me. Give me what it is that you have for me to succeed. And he will do just that. Because this is what you wanted to do, yeah, you're going to hit some stumbling blocks because that's how the devil works. When you see you trying to do stuff for God, oh yeah, he'll get in your face and your business. Oh, let me deter you. But one thing about it is when you're doing stuff for God, oh, he's going to make sure it come to pass. And no matter how many people don't show up, because imagine, I have tons of people now, oh, I got all these new friends. Oh, because Angie over here taking pictures with celebrities, she doing this, that, and the third. I have all these new cousins I don't know about, you know. And so it was amazing to me, and I said, Lord, where's all these people coming from? And so he had to put me in a severance season, where he had to show me who is really in my circle. And sometimes he'll put you by yourself so that you can be drawn to those that are supposed to be there for you. And so he let you go through the things that he did so that he could show you who is your support system. That's why they're here. So everybody that's supposed to be here, they are. For those that didn't make it, that's fine too. Because what he has for you, who he has for you, he will always reveal that and he will show that to you. So baby, happy 40th. Walk in it. Own it. Be who you are. Your life, and it's for you, and everybody's gonna be able to change that. You are going to be something that is going to change many people's lives, and while you're changing their life, they're still going to be changing yours as well. So continue to be humble, continue to be loving, continue to allow your village to surround you, and I promise you that this is just the beginning for you.
Amen.